Hello, everyone. My name is Jim Wilson, and I'm the Chemical Industry Council Architect for the Open Applications Group. The purpose of this webinar is to provide an OAGi overview, and with this overview there will be a little bit of a chemical industry flavor, but pretty much all of what I will discuss applies to OAGi in general. Okay, so the first topic to address is what is OAGi and what is OAGIS, or as it's pronounced, OAGis. So OAGi is the Open Application Group Incorporated. That is, it's the organization. OAGIS, or OAGis, is the Open Application Group Integration Specification. That is the standard. And then finally we have OAGis 10, which is the next generation version of OAGis, which leverages UNC-FACT technologies. OAGi was established in 1994, and its original scope included business-to-business, application-to-application, and enterprise-to-enterprise, or enterprise-to-execution systems. That scope, again, established in 1994, is still in effect 17 years later. So let's discuss for a minute how OAGi works. So there are some fundamental technologies and tools that help us use OAGi, and we start at the bottom there with UML models. This UML models help us define what information is required and what processes are in effect for various OAGi messages. In other words, they provide the UML process models provide the context for how OAGi messages work. OAGi primarily uses sequence diagrams, which is a type of UML model. However, they also use activity diagrams. Built on top of UML models are XML schemas, and that is a way of defining the information requirements in a way that can be easily implemented by developers. And then built upon XML schema are various types of what we call core components, or reusable definitions of information. And so UNC-FACT, for instance, specifies various core components around data types, and ISO provides various core components for things like financial standards and currency code lists and country code lists. OAGis has specified its own core components. HRXML has specified core components for the human resources industry. Alongside all of these things, we have the BOD architecture. Now, BOD stands for Business Object Document, and you can think of that as a message. So something like a purchase order or an invoice. And so OAGi has specified an architecture for how you construct such things. Supporting that is a meta model, and that just ensures that our architecture is being enforced, and we are consistent in the way that we construct our BODs. And then finally, there's naming and design rules, which specify how we take our schemas and UML models and core components and ensure that they are expressed in consistent standard ways for how developers would use them. And on top of this, we have the OAGis platform. And so the OAGis platform is kind of the, let's say, the building blocks for how industries would take OAGis and implement OAGis. And so that provides all the tools. So all the stuff below OAGis platform and those things to the side all serve to produce something we call the OAGis platform. That is the stuff that you download in zip files and begin to explore and find out how you can use it in your industry. Now, on top of the OAGis platform, various industries have identified parts of the platform that apply to them, and they have identified parts that maybe aren't so interesting at the moment, and they have produced guidelines or maybe profiles of the OAGis platform that are specific to their industry. Next we have OAGis 10. So we are, OAGi is about halfway into a 3-year project to develop OAGis 10. Currently we are on OAGis 9.5, and I'm sure we'll have other incremental releases. But OAGis 10 is a 3-year project. We anticipate finishing December 2012, maybe January 2013. One of the driving factors for OAGis 10 development is cross-industry support for industries like manufacturing, auto, high-tech, chemical, steel, aerospace, and defense. OAGis 10 implements UNC Fact 3.0 technologies, including naming and design rules, CCTS, data types, and the emerging UCM technology as much as possible. UCM is the UNC Fact context methodology, and so it helps us define what parts of our OAGis platform would be used in various contexts. OAGis 10 is the 4th generation of OAGis, and remember, OAGi has been around 17 years, which predates XML. So the first generation wasn't even XML, and then we moved into XML with support for DTDs, then on to schemas, and now we will continue to support XML with OAGis 10, but with a greater emphasis on leveraging cross-industry core components, and then potentially supporting other syntaxes other than XML. But there's certainly a strong commitment to XML. And again, we're scheduled for a December 2012 release. The realities of the holidays may put that into January 2013. Okay, let's talk about the Chemical Industry Council a little bit. I told you at the beginning that this will have a bit of a chemical industry flavor to it, but I think the work here is indicative of the kinds of things that happen in other councils. So first of all, the Chemical Industry Council members include Ashland, Bayer, Dow, Rhodia, Shell, Oracle, Ag Gateway, Olemica, and the Japan Petrochemical Association. In particular, their SETI committee participates. In the past year, we've released CHEMI Standards 5.1 and 5.1.1. 5.1 addresses a number of emerging agriculture industry requirements for European horticulture, feed, animal health, and seed. Additionally, the team defined a supply forecast message, which was a new message. CHEMI Standards 5.1 is a minor release and is backwards compatible with 5.0. CHEMI Standards 5.1.1 is a minor bug fix. And CHEMI Standards is also published as OAGi Standards. It's the same schema, same namespaces, etc., and that is widely implemented in the agriculture industry in North America and increasingly throughout the rest of the world. So just to compare OAGis and CHEMI Standards is the chemical industry's legacy XML standard. And for that matter, you can say it's also the agriculture industry's legacy XML standard. And it's primarily used in intra-industry scenarios. So in other words, chemical company to chemical company, ag company to ag company. OAGis 10 is the future of chemical industry standards, and it's well suited and in fact proven for cross-industry scenarios. And in fact, when the the executives on the CIDEX Board of Directors considered the future of chemical industry standards, They looked for organizations that had a strong track record of cross-industry standards implementation. And so OAGi was the clear leader in that area, and that's why they selected OAGi to help the chemical industry maintain its standards in the future. A major project within the OAGi Chemical Industry Council is something we call the CHEMI Standards OAGis Gap Analysis. So again, as I indicated, CHEMI Standards has a chemical industry focus and actually agriculture industry focus as well, but it's intra-industry. And so given that OAGis, the bigger, long-standing OAGi set of standards, is cross-industry in nature, it's important that whatever messaging requirements CHEMI standards support, that those same requirements are supported by OAGis. And so we've launched a gap analysis project. We're well into it. There's several steps. The first one was determine what parts of CHEMI standards are reported used and not reported used. We've done that. That was important to make sure that if there are parts of CHEMI standards that no one uses, that we don't take the time to conduct the gap analysis, nor do we risk putting into OAGis requirements that aren't important. The next thing was to cross-reference CHEMI standards messages to OAGis bods, and we've completed that. The next step was to review CHEMI standards order-to-cash business process guidelines and corresponding OAGis scenarios, and we've done that. The next thing was to perform a gap analysis of order create message against the process purchase order bod, and that was done. And then perform gap analysis of other messages, and that's in progress. We've moved on to invoice, for example. One of the tools that helps us do this work is a tool called the OAGis Navigator for CHEMI Standards. It's a Windows desktop tool that really helps with CHEMI standards. We anticipate also a version of that for OAGis 10. So that was released in October with the CHEMI Standards 5.1.1 for our Chemical Industry Council. There's a version of it also for Ag Gateway. And as I indicated, it will be available for OAGis 10. And just in a nutshell, it allows users to browse the standards through a hierarchical user interface without any specifics of XML schema or anything there. The whole idea is to just make it intuitive for people to look through the standard and understand what's there, how things are defined, without having to understand XML schema details. And then there are a number of tools. By right-clicking on something you see in the tree expression of the standard, you can generate an Excel expression of the standards for business people to work with. That is used quite a bit for helping groups within an industry, various companies coming together within an industry to agree on how they'll use a standard in a particular context. It can also generate schema subsets of the standard, which is helpful for developers. It can generate sample instances of documents and several other things. It's available for free to OAGi members and available for a small fee to non-members. Right now it supports, it is capable of supporting multiple languages, including Japanese, and we have a project underway with our partners at SETI to translate the order create documentation to Japanese for inclusion in the tool. So now we've covered the Chemical Industry Council in some detail, but let's briefly cover some of the other OAGi groups. So OAGi has an architecture council, and its job is really to kind of ensure that the work of the other councils is consistent and in line with the OAGi architecture, and really provide advice to those groups, and then of course execute its own projects. And the big project there is the OAGis 10 project. And so its members include ADP, CDC, Cisco, Intel, Oracle, and then each, the high-tech, chemical, and partner councils are also members of the Architecture Council. OAGi has staff and contractors. Oh, sorry about that. Second. Employees include David Connolly, longtime CEO of OAGi, and his business manager, Michelle Rasco. And then Oracle has graciously loaned Mike Rao as chief architect, and he's a standard industry renowned figure. We have Ralph Hertline, vice president of OAGi operations, and then there's me, Jim Wilson, and I'm the Chemical Industry Council architect. The OAGi policy board members, you can just think of the policy board as like the OAGi board of directors, and it includes representatives from Oracle, Microsoft, Intel, Cisco, GXS, Innovus, the High Tech Council, and the Chemical Council. Notably, the Chemical Industry Council representative is Tom Fannin from Ashland, and Tom Fannin was at one time the board chair for Cydex. This is the laundry list of OAGi membership today. OAGi has several OAGis working groups. So there's the High Tech Council with its Logistics Working Group and Global Trade Compliance Working Group. There's the Chemical Industry Council, and we've discussed its activities already. There's the Partner Council with the Warranty Working Group. There's the Architecture Council with its Quality Assurance Working Group, Confirm BOD Working Group, Cloud Computing Working Group, which is in progress, and we'll touch on that again in a few minutes. And then the OAGis Release 10 Working Group. And that last point there, the OAGis 10 Working Group is a big effort, and there are weekly 3-hour calls to move that project forward. The governance model starts at the top of the CEO and the policy board, or again, the board of directors. And then there are the councils, Architecture, High Tech, Chemical Industry, and Partner Council. And you can see there many of the work groups, and under the Chemical Industry Council, there's TIMI standards, and within that, there's the work on the gap analysis. And in the Architecture group, there's the Quality Work Group, as I indicated. There's Release 9.5 work, and actually 9.5 is released, and so we'll begin another cycle for 9.6. And there's the Release 10 Working Group with various subgroups. The Partner Council includes STAR, OAGi, and HRXML, and we'll discuss those in just a couple minutes when we talk about collaborations. Okay, business update. So let's discuss events year to date, update on collaborations, demographics, and upcoming events. So this year we conducted 2 OAGis 9.5 review webinars leading up to, or as part of the 9.5 public review. So we completed that, and then we published OAGis 9.5. We have ongoing blog, Twitter, and LinkedIn updates, created a Facebook fan page, just making sure that we're plugged into all the social media, and we're still sorting out how to best leverage those tools to stay connected to our members. We started a trade compliance working group, started the OAGis 10 HR content subgroup, wrapped up most of the work in the OAGis 10 manufacturing subgroup. We're happy to report that our website registrations have exceeded 3,500. And I should point out there that the reason that people register is so that they have access to the standard. Again, the standard is free to download, but you need to register first. So there's a lot of information that is available anonymously, but that figure suggests that at least that many people are downloading the standards. Countries are up to 89, with more details here in a couple slides. And then we held our meeting as scheduled in Gaithersburg, Maryland, hosted by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. A few marketing actions. We do have a members-only part of the website. We've been developing our cloud presentation and positioning, and indeed we had a panel discussion at our April meeting. And we're looking at how we can make cloud computing an integral part of various activities. We know that we have to be careful about not just jumping on to every new technology, but then again, we do recognize that the cloud is real, it's here to stay, and we need to understand its appropriate use, risks, opportunities, things like that. So we are quickly getting our arms around what its implications are for OAGis and for the OAGi members. And then we're developing a value proposition presentation that members can use to promote OAGi. Just a few notes on engagement. OAGi registered as a non-governmental organization with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. And by doing that, that gives us some visibility into and stature within a group of other standards groups. So we're plugged into what's going on internationally, and we have a voice into that group. We've developed we developed a UNC-FACT engagement policy. As I indicated earlier, UNC-FACT has developed a number of specifications and has developed a core component library, and one of the frequent questions that we are asked is, well, what are we doing with that? How are we helping? How are we engaged? And so we, as a group, developed an engagement policy that just helps people understand our position with respect to UNC-FACT. We're continuing collaboration on ISA 95, which is manufacturing related. HR XML uses the OAGis platform, and we've helped them understand how to best use it for the human resources industry. We're continuing engagement with Swift, Twist, and IFX, which are in the financial industry. Also with STAR and OAGi, which are in the automotive industry. And then the OAGi has a high-tech council, which is at the moment primarily U.S.-based organizations, of course, with international reach. But we are also engaged with Edifice, which is European high-tech. And then finally, Ag Gateway, which is agriculture. And again, as I indicated earlier, that they participate in the Chemical Industry Council and use CHIMI standards. So let's talk about OAGi user demographics. So, one of the questions we have is, how is OAGi used? You may recall from, one of the initial slides that OAGi is used in B2B, A to A, and, system scenarios. And so we conducted a survey recently and confirmed those things. And as you can see, that 64% of the respondents indicated they use OAGis for B2B, and 73% indicated they use it for A to A. And one of the interesting things is that we hear from our users is that many of them use it for both, which is kind of handy for them. We're seeing increasing use in business to consumer and in the cloud, SOA. They use it to implement web services. Some use it for master data management, and a small number use it for data warehousing and for other purposes. Country representation on the website. We have pretty much every continent representative. Lots of countries, not surprisingly, Europe and North America are extremely well represented. And then here's a list of countries. Again, these are website registrations. These are where the 3,500 registrants come from. A report for, about a week ago, for the week of June 27th. This is a list of visitors. Again, these are visitors, not necessarily registrants. So, where was the person located who browsed to the OAGi website? And not surprisingly, a large percentage came from the United States. But, China, Japan, Sweden were way up there. And then you can see the rest of the countries listed there. So the lesson there is that people come from all over the world to the OAGi website to explore ways to help them with their A2A and B2B integration. So finally, kind of the last point here is that OAGi has a fall OAGi board and plenary meeting. It will be it's scheduled for November 15th through 17th, and it is hosted by Oracle in Redwood City. So I encourage you to join that meeting. Learn more about OAGi. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to offering future webinars to help inform you about what we're doing at OAGi. Thank you.